When we taste something sweet, it's not just a simple sensation. It's the beginning of a complex chain reaction in our brains. Our tongues have taste receptors that are specifically designed to detect sugar. Think of them as tiny sensors that light up when they encounter sugar molecules. As soon as these receptors are activated, they send a signal up to our brains. This signal travels all the way to the cerebral cortex, the control center of our brain. And that's where the real action begins. The signal arrives at a particular part of the cerebral cortex known as the reward system. This area of the brain is responsible for making us feel good when we do things that are important for our survival. Things like eating, drinking water, and forming social bonds all trigger this reward system. It's designed to ensure that we repeat these behaviors, keeping us alive and thriving. Now here's where sugar gets interesting. When the reward system receives the signal from the sweet taste receptors, it releases a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Dopamine is often referred to as the feel-good chemical because it's associated with pleasure and reward. It's what gives us that surge of satisfaction and happiness when we experience something pleasurable. So, in essence, when we eat sugar, our brains reward us with a dose of dopamine, making us want to seek out and consume more sugar in the future. This mechanism is hardwired into our biology, ensuring that we consume calorie-rich foods for energy. Let's delve deeper into the fascinating world of dopamine and the reward pathway. Imagine the reward pathway as a superhighway in the brain, designed to deliver those feel-good messages quickly and efficiently. Dopamine is like the neurochemical courier that travels along this highway, carrying messages of pleasure and reward to different parts of the brain. When we engage in activities that are essential for our survival or bring us pleasure, dopamine is released from a specific area in the brain called the ventral tegmental area, or VTA. From the VTA, dopamine travels along the reward pathway to other brain regions, including the nucleus accumbens, the amygdala, and the prefrontal cortex. Each of these areas plays a role in our experience of pleasure, motivation, and learning. The nucleus accumbens is like the pleasure center of the brain. When it receives a surge of dopamine, it tells us to pay attention and remember this pleasurable experience. It reinforces the behavior that led to the dopamine release, making us want to repeat it again and again. The amygdala plays a crucial role in processing emotions, particularly positive ones. It helps us associate the pleasurable feeling we get from dopamine with the specific food, activity, or experience that caused it. And lastly, the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center, gets involved in planning and decision-making. When it receives dopamine signals, it helps us make choices that bring us more of those rewarding experiences. So, you see, dopamine and the reward pathway are intricate parts of our brain's intricate reward system, ensuring that we seek out pleasurable experiences and repeat behaviors that are beneficial for our survival and well-being. Here's where things get a bit tricky. While our brains are wired to seek out pleasure and reward, they are also incredibly adaptable. With repeated exposure to something pleasurable, like sugar, our brains start to adjust. This adaptation is a natural process known as tolerance. Think of it like this. Imagine listening to your favorite song for the first time. The melody is fresh, exciting, and it sends a rush of dopamine to your reward pathway, making you feel fantastic. But if you listen to that same song repeatedly, over and over again, the effect starts to wear off. The song becomes less exciting, and the dopamine rush diminishes. You might even find yourself needing to turn up the volume just to get the same level of enjoyment. The same principle applies to sugar and the reward pathway. When we repeatedly consume sugar, our brains become less sensitive to its effects. The dopamine rush we experience from that first bite of cake diminishes over time. As a result, we need to consume more and more sugar to achieve the same level of pleasure and reward. This is what we call tolerance, and it's a hallmark of addiction. This cycle of tolerance and increased consumption can have significant implications for our health and well-being. It can lead to excessive sugar intake, weight gain, and an increased risk of chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and certain types of cancer. Understanding how tolerance develops is crucial for breaking free from the grip of sugar cravings and making healthier choices. When it comes to exercise, intensity matters. High-intensity workouts can deliver quick results, but they also come with higher risks. On the other hand, moderate-intensity exercises are easier to maintain in the long run and offers substantial health benefits. So it's important to find a balance that works for you. A varied diet is crucial for maintaining good health. Different foods provide different nutrients, and a diverse diet ensures you get a broad spectrum of vitamins and minerals. Remember, no single food can supply all the nutrients your body needs, so mix it up and enjoy a wide range of foods. Overconsumption of sugar can have serious long-term effects on your health. It can lead to weight gain, increased risk of heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. Moreover, high sugar intake is linked to a higher risk of developing certain cancers. So, it's wise to monitor your sugar intake and make healthier choices whenever possible.